This is how donkey hooves invented one of the most known objects on Earth, because over 1,000 years ago, the Chinese cut them into rectangles and boiled them for hours, as this softened the material of the hooves. So after placing a wooden board on top and locking it tight, they were pressed flat and became much more dense, and this made it possible to sand them smooth into these perfect rectangles, which would later be used all over the world, as after grinding them underwater to smoothen each surface, he rubs each piece onto these painted strings to add a precise grid, since they all have to be the exact same, because these allowed him to precisely drill into each one, finally creating the iconic pieces we all know as dominoes. As he pours water into these trays, he's using a genius method to survive the extreme cold, because once the water freezes, they're lifted out and arranged carefully to slowly form the walls of a box. And to connect them, he pours boiling water along each seam, just enough to melt the surface so when the panels meet, they instantly refreeze into one solid structure. As after he smoothens the top with a hot iron, he creates a lid and fills his glove with snow before attaching it on top to create a handle. So once bags of food are added inside, the block of ice not only acts as an easy way to store it, but it also protects the food from animals while keeping it frozen. The Chinese harvest these bamboo roots to carve one thing specifically, because it not only has the perfect shape for what they need, but it's extremely dense and hard to crack, making it possible to carve extremely fine details. But it's difficult to work with as it's full of knots and irregular growth, so they draw down guidelines to plan every cut, as they've carved this exact design onto bamboo roots for over 1,000 years. Because as they drill more details, they make use of the bamboo's unique natural structure by drilling around the grain to purposely form a warty texture, slowly transforming it into an iconic toad called a jinchan, which people highly value as a symbol of wealth and protection. This is how people literally stretched gold into objects over 5,000 years ago, because they discovered that hammering it over and over caused the gold to spread outwards instead of cracking, allowing them to bend a small flat piece into basically any shape, which back then, goldsmiths often shaped the gold into cups, since they were used frequently by kings and other elites, meaning they had to be shaped perfectly with no uneven walls or warped edges, which is why they drew multiple guidelines across the entire surface so they could precisely hammer each section evenly until it finally settled into a smooth cup.